You open ChatGPT, ask one question, skim the answer, then close the tab. It feels useful, but every chat is a one-off, and tomorrow you start from scratch again. Today, I'll show you a different way to use AI called prompt chaining, so you can turn those random chats into simple, repeatable workflows for writing, research, and everyday tasks without any coding. According to Nate's newsletter, prompt chaining means linking AI prompts in sequence so the output of one step becomes the input for the next, like a small assembly line inside your chat window. A guide from AASDR explains that each prompt builds on the previous output, which helps AI handle bigger tasks with more detail and accuracy than if you throw everything into one huge message and hope for the best. Think of it like asking a friend for help. You don't say, "Do my whole project." You say, "First help me research, then help me research, then help me make sense of it, then help me write it up." Prompt chaining does that same step-by-step structure for AI. The Prompt Engineering Guide says prompt chaining improves reliability because you break a task into subtasks and prompt each one separately, feeding each response into the next instead of making the model juggle everything at once. So when should you bother chaining prompts instead of a single question? TaskAid's guide points out it shines for complex work where you care about getting consistent results, like weekly reports, article drafts, or research summaries you do again and again. Here's a simple idea we'll use together. Gen AI Unplugged suggests starting with 3 stages: research, analyze, and write. You create one focus prompt for each stage, then run them in order so the AI walks through your task like steps, not chaos. Let's build a chain you can copy. Imagine you need a short article every week, like a newsletter about remote work or a school discussion post. We'll set up 3 reusable prompts you can run in ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini every time. Step 1 is the research prompt. According to Coursera's guide on using ChatGPT for automation, you start by naming the task, then clearly define the inputs and outputs. So let's tell the AI exactly what we want it to research and how to format the results. Here's an example you can adapt. You are my research assistant. Topic: benefits and downsides of remote work for small businesses. Find 5 recent credible sources. For each source, list the title, author, key points in 2 bullets, and the URL if available. Step 2 is the analyze prompt. The Prompt Engineering Guide says each subtask response should feed the next. So you now paste the research output into your next message and ask the AI to group and explain it in plain language. For analysis, you might say, using the research above, group the key points into 3 main themes. For each theme, write a short paragraph in everyday language that explains what it is and why it matters to a small business owner. Step 3 is the writing prompt. TaskAid's summary of prompt chaining talks about getting more control and fewer errors by shaping each stage. So now you feed the analysis into a final prompt that asks for one clear piece of writing in your style. You could say, using the analysis above, write a 600-word blog post for non-technical small business owners. Use a warm, practical tone. Start with a short story. Then cover the 3 themes and end with 3 concrete tips they can act on this week. Let me show that chain as a real example, so you can see how simple it is in practice. Coursera's ChatGPT automation guide recommends turning repeat tasks into templates. So once your 3 prompts feel right, save them in a note or document with a name like Weekly Article Chain, so you can reuse them every time instead of reinventing them. Free Academy suggests beginners start with manual chaining like this in tools such as ChatGPT or Claude, then document chains that work well as templates, so you can run that workflow in minutes instead of rebuilding it from scratch each week. FindSkill's Prompt Chaining Guide gives a nice rule of thumb. If you notice you've run the same chain more than about 10 times, that might be the moment to explore no-code tools like Zapier or Make to connect your chain to email, notes, or other apps, but only after you've tested it manually. Here's the real payoff. Instead of AI feeling like random magic, you now have a tiny process you can trust. Research, analyze, write, all handled in clear steps that you control. Your action for this week is simple. Pick one recurring task. Break it into 3 stages and write one prompt for each, like we just did. Run that chain a few times. Tweak it, then save it as your first reusable AI workflow. If this helped you see AI as more than a smart search box, subscribe for more simple workflows like this so you can make ChatGPT Claude, and Gemini part of your daily routines, not just one-off chats.